Life is Strange 2 sets itself apart from the last two games in all the right ways. You play as 16-year-old Sean Diaz and must balance morality, survival, freedom, responsibility, selfishness, and family. But here's the twist. Everything you do also shapes Sean's younger brother, Daniel. The series' most notorious motto has never rang more true. This action will have consequences, and you'll feel them all the way through. This is my attempt to zero in on the theme of responsibility in the game, and I also make this artwork, so if that sounds good to you, welcome, and of course, spoilers ahead for the whole game. Here's a recap so we're all on the same page. Sean and Daniel are at different stages in their lives. Sean seeks independence and Daniel is annoying. It's America in late 2016, so you know, like Trump, the war, you remember, and if you don't, it's happening again anyway, but kinda worse now. That means that some people get emboldened to act like this.
Better leave us alone!
Oh yeah, go hide in your dad's garage. Pussies. You think you own the block?
Oh yeah, motherfucker?
Then go back to your own country.
What's going on?
Me.
On the ground! Now!
Oh no.
Sean, what's happening?
On the ground!
And naturally, with this being a Life is Strange game,
On the ground!
Oh fuck! No! Daniel, come on! We gotta go! Now!
Okay, so suddenly Sean finds himself and his brother on the run, and to make things harder, he's not the one with powers.
Calm down, Daniel! Let's just talk, please!
You knew Dad was dead! You knew it! Why?
I won't get too much into it here, but the brothers go through a lot during their journey. They encounter racists and bigots, new friends, criminals, cults, and even their absent mother. It's a game about family, independence, and trust. The game fixes the biggest issue I actually had with the original Life is Strange game, that being the endings, just because you can choose what you want to do as Sean, but Daniel has like equal sway in the ending's outcome, giving us 4 very different and like bittersweet endings that reflect your choices through the game. I would say that this game is probably my favourite take on the genre, not just because I love sibling stories, but mostly from a more mechanical perspective. Life is Strange 2 makes your choices feel genuinely meaningful and impactful, like right up until the end. It's definitely not perfect, but when you play the game for the first time with no idea about what's going to happen, you really do start to feel like Sean when making decisions. We know from the start that Daniel's powers are capable of killing people if he isn't steered in the right direction, but there are times where the morally grey decisions can seem so much better for your survival. The whole thing just makes you question even your smallest choices as you watch Daniel grow and change with every action that you take. Despite all the differences, this still feels like a Life is Strange game. It still has a very Life is Strange soundtrack, with the score being composed once again by Jonathan Morali, as well as characters with depth, cringy dialogue, and bisexuality.
You got a crush on me or something?
What?
I think I feel the same.
You're bi.
The art style helps as well, although it does feel kind of different to the first game. There's more of a, like, earthiness or dustiness to everything, if that makes sense. The colours are darker, browner, and you spend a lot of time in places that are broken and imperfect, rather than rustic and charming like Arcadia Bay. It makes sense, honestly, because, you know, Arcadia Bay was once a home to Max, but the open roads on Sean and Daniel's journey are pretty unknown and hostile, and it's less about nostalgia and more about reality.
You can't escape reality. Even here. We just live slightly apart from it.
Superpowers in media, especially in video games, are usually a power fantasy of some sort. They give you a feeling of more control over the situations you find yourself in. Max's story kind of originally explored this, right? Like how all that control doesn't erase the hard decisions you'll have to make and all the consequences that happen because of them. Life is Strange 2 simply removes the fantasy altogether. You might expect to feel more powerless, but your control actually comes from your decisions mostly. Where Life is Strange 1 touched on themes of misogyny, Life is Strange 2 touches on racism, particularly the bigotry faced by Latino people, which actually increased following Trump's first election and continues to the present day.
So, Professor, how do you say, I'm a dirty thief?
To the media and the bigots he encounters, Sean is a cop killer, the reason that they built the wall and the exact type of criminal they're trying to keep out of America. When he does eventually encounter law enforcement, he can't explain the truth to them. They either wouldn't believe him or they'd take Daniel away from him, so running seems like the most obvious choice. To make things harder, Sean is homeless and grieving and cut off from his friends, all while parenting his younger brother. He's 16, but he is still a kid at the end of the day. There are several points in the game where, with powers like Daniel's, maybe Sean could have escaped harm or helped himself, but he's stuck in this reality where he doesn't really have any control over his situation, just the decisions he can make in the moment. This time, you don't get to see what two outcomes are and pick the least worst one. I mean, you can, but it's not an in-game mechanic anymore. This time you need to weigh up your decisions because you have to balance the short term with the long term. You know, will you buy Daniel a Christmas gift with what little money you have, or steal one? Will you rob some very needed supplies from the racist creep who just tied you up in his shop, or do you take the moral high ground and just run? Do you try and scare away the mountain lion that just killed your dog, or do you let Daniel murder it in cold blood? Sean's story, and the story of Life is Strange 2 in general, isn't really about powers. Those are an extra manifestation of the pressures he feels to protect his brother and teach him to be a good person. I think it's about trust and people. The system's against them, and they couldn't hope to survive against it alone, but they do, through the kindness and help of the individuals and communities that they encounter along the way.
I've looked enough. Time to draw now.
The art I decided to make for this game revolves around the aspect of responsibility. Like I said, I think the whole consequences mechanic in the game is well done, and I especially enjoy how every decision builds up to affect Daniel in the game's ending. I went with this simple idea of a ripple effect because, you know, every choice made by Sean is reflected in Daniel.
You always want it both ways. Use it, then don't.
We just have to make sure you can control it.
Well, it's my power, not yours.
Even Daniel grapples with responsibility. After stealing a puppy from that racist guy I mentioned earlier, Daniel names her Mushroom and brings her along for the next month or so of their journey. Unfortunately, he doesn't watch over her closely enough, and when she's killed, he blames himself. He does get another chance when he befriends Chris later in the same episode.
Daniel, what's going on here?
Don't freak out. I can explain.
Let me tell him. Sean, I know it sounds crazy, but I have a superpower.
A superpower? Really?
Chris fantasizes about having superpowers of his own as a coping mechanism to deal with his own reality, the loss of his mother, and in some ways his father as well.
Hey, is your arm okay? Looks better. Anybody ask you about it, or
Daniel decides it's a good idea to cheer him up by allowing Chris to believe that he really does have superpowers. And if he decides not to listen to you if you warn him against it, then...
Chris!
Sean isn't Daniel's only potential role model, however. You know, through the game, we meet other characters who influence Daniel and ask us as an audience where we decide to draw the line between freedom and authority. We first meet Claire, the grandmother of Sean and Daniel, who's conservative, religious, and values rules above everything.
It's time you learn to respect some rules.
Her strict rules can be stifling and difficult to live under, not only for Daniel and Sean, but for Karen, their mother, as well. More on that in a minute. Finn, on the other hand, is the head of a family more in the sense of found family. None of these people are bound by blood, but they do look after each other and travel together. They're open and accepting to a fault, living with few rules and looking only to survive and live as freely as possible, despite the danger it means they may sometimes find themselves in.
Get in, bust that safe, grab the money, then head back to the camp and bail out with everyone.
You sure they're gonna be okay with that?
They will when they see the money.
Lisbeth runs a cult.
Here is Daniel,
Oh, praise be
the prophet who was thrown to the lions by false prophets.
She's the sole authority figure, and nobody questions her judgment, be it conversion therapy or letting a girl die of pneumonia because medicine bad, I guess. When we find him after 2 months, Daniel's already fully indoctrinated into her way of thinking and defaults to her leadership without question.
It's time for you to leave our sanctuary, right now.
Not without my brother.
I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. She's my family now.
Daniel, listen. She's not your family.
Sean? Who is she?
Our mother.
Finally, we have Karen, the Diaz brothers' absent mother.
Well, I got a letter from Jacob. He said you were missing. And that Daniel needed help. I believed him.
So you finally decided to check on him.
Growing up as Claire's daughter, she felt restricted and boxed in, and followed what she felt was demanded of her.
They looked happy. How could she send all of this to hell?
It was only once she'd already had 2 children and a husband that she realized the life she was living didn't really make her happy. And she made the decision to abandon it all in a quest for true self-determination.
She's not my daughter anymore, or your mother. She burned all those bridges. One letter doesn't change what she did to me, all of us. She is not welcome back.
Despite her choices, Karen shows up to help Sean and Daniel and apologizes for leaving, taking them into her community and helping them prepare for that last leg of their journey. In the end, she sacrifices her own freedom to be there for her sons.
The cops are after me too, for what happened in Nevada. So they can catch me instead of you. Fair trade.
Mom, you'll go to jail for helping us.
It's not about me right now. We need to get your asses to Puerto Lobos.
Sean is the only constant figure in Daniel's life through the game though, and the kind of person that Daniel becomes depends on the choices you make. It's referred to as a morality system, I believe, but many of the decisions you make can be read as morally grey, even if they look black and white out of context. Like, at what point have you actually gone too far in your attempts to keep yourself and Daniel safe? Even when you and Daniel commit murder, it can sort of be justified as an act of self-defense. I'm recording this on a different day just because I didn't like what I originally said in this section, so apologies if the audio sounds different. So, I just wanted to talk about the art itself quickly. The idea behind these Life is Strange videos is that they're a chance for me to get better at rendering and creating good illustrations, which is why they don't all necessarily use the same techniques or look very uniform. They're experiments. I was really disappointed with my Before the Storm artwork, and I think part of this is because it felt like it lacked texture and it was too heavy-handed in the references and the metaphors. I tried to incorporate several themes when I really should have focused most of all on the central theme that I was going for about the relationship between the characters, and I think it got muddy and lost a lot of its subtlety. So this time I tried to be more simplistic. It does mean that I didn't include a background, so I think with the true colours art I make, I'm gonna try and sharpen my perspective skills a bit. With this work I tried out some new ways of rendering. I used the rake brush to add in some texture, inspired by this fan art I saw online, And I also tried carving shadows out of the lighting to try and give things more of a 3D effect. Overall, I think it went pretty well. I always need to keep going back and studying fundamentals, which I try to do with each of these pieces, but I don't necessarily record that aspect, so let me know if it's something you want to see. I've been so slow with the production of this one, and I'm sorry about that. I've been dealing with some anxiety about the quality of my work since these videos have started to break about 1,000 views. I'll try and post more consistently, which might mean some videos about other art and topics between this one and the next one, but if I can, I'd like to at least get my video about True Colors out before the end of the year, and maybe even Double Exposure, because I know some people have been waiting for that. Regardless though, thank you for listening to my ramble, and let me know if you'd rather hear more about the art process next time.
I don't want to be a superhero anymore. How do I know when to use it?
You don't. You can only trust your guts. And listen to your brother.
You're always with them!
Oh, come on, Daniel.
Bet you don't even want me around anymore.
Don't say that. You know it's always you and me, and then...
Was Daniel involved? Is that why you can't talk?
No, no way.
And you're absolutely sure your dad didn't go after the officer?
That officer freaked out and shot him! In front of me and Daniel!
Just guilty of being... Who knows? I just... want... my brother.
But he doesn't want you.
I won't leave you, Daniel. Not here. I'll come right back. Again and again.
So, how does the story of the Wolf Brothers end?
Thank you for watching the video, especially if you watched to the end. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like the art, it will be linked in the description. You can buy it as a print. And if you want to commission me to draw like a character or an OC or something, I have an account on VGen that you can check out and commission me there if you like. That's all really though. I hope to post again soon. I don't know. Don't really want to make any promises, so let's just hope for the best. And in the meantime, keep working on your team, Hal.
I love you. No matter what happens. You hear me?
Yeah. I love you too. Ow! Ow! Ow!
Ow!
Ow! Ow! Ow! Ow! Ow! Ow!